Hello everyone, Counterspell Hater here, back with another EH guide. Before we get into anything, if you are not aware, today, September 8th, 2022, Queen Elizabeth has died. So, not to begin off grim, but I think it's only right that maybe for this video, I pay and you can pay along with me a minute of silence for the Queen, starting now. Thank you. Um, it is a bit sad. I never knew Queen Elizabeth. Not gonna get all mushy here, but rest in peace is my point. Now let's get into the video and kind of lift the mood a bit, if that is what is appropriate, which I feel it would be. So today we will get into another Dominaria United Commander. Oh, before we get into the video, please leave a like on this video and subscribe. Um, as you're commenting, you can make any request if you're, first come, first serve. And you can also, if you want, pay some sort of respects to Queen Elizabeth in comments. It's really your choice. Uh, And don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss another video. And I think with that said, we'll get into this commander. Today we're looking at Aisha Tanaka Armorer. This is an Artifact Matters deck. Um, so the way I built this is around just like artifact creatures. So one of the main pieces of this deck is Mycosynth Golem to give our artifact creature spells infinity for artifacts, so they're cheaper as we cheat out more artifacts. Uh, so like we could get a Blightsteel Colossus for free, and would definitely recommend if you can get Aisha's power to 12 or more, then you'd be capable of cheating out Blightsteel Colossus just with their attack trigger alone. I mean, Trample, Infect, Indestructible, 11/11 for free. That would normally cost you 12 mana. That's a good deal. And it can't really go away, even if your opponents wanted to, unless they exile it. Shadow Spear, just for lifelink and trample, and to get rid of hexproof and indestructible as a problem if our opponent's creatures would have that, or their permanents, I should say, would have it. Blackblade Reforged, just to buff up Aisha. Darksteel Forge to give our artifacts indestructible. Lion Sash for Graveyard Hate, buff up our commander as we exile more cards, more permanent cards from graveyards. Haunted Plate Mail, not a bad uh, artifact or piece of equipment to have. Gives +4/+4, and it can also become a creature, uh, only if we have no creatures. So if you haven't had any creatures up to this point, you play Haunted Plate Mail, and suddenly you've got a 4/4 whenever you want. Sword of Feast and Famine, help us cast more spells, help us get through for more damage, buff up our commander a bit. Sword of Ours, same thing, buff up our commander so we can cheat out more stuff, more expensive stuff. Armory of Ioras, same thing. Godsend, again, same thing. Also, get rid of some problematic creatures that have like Hexproof and Indestructible with this, and prevent our opponents from casting those spells. So someone has Greater Hoof Behemoth, the exile it with Godsend. Now our opponents can't cast Greater Hoof Behemoth if they have it in their deck, as long as Godsend is around. Sword of Sinew and Steel, just for protection from black and from red, and for the +2/+2. And we can destroy a Planeswalker and up to one target artifact. So get rid of 2 problems at once. Spear of Heliod, buff up all of our creatures, and can destroy something that dealt damage to us this turn. So our opponent is less likely to swing at us, and if they do, we can punish them for it if the creature deals combat damage. Sword of the Animist, help us find more lands. Hammer of Nazan, kind of eliminates the problem of equip cost, so we can just straight up slap down a piece of equipment and attach it for free right as it enters the battlefield, right to our commander. So we don't have to spend mana equipping equipment to our commander to buff it up, and we can do more of what is ideal for us on that turn with mana we have. Sword of the Perunes buffs up our commander when it's attacking, and other tapped creatures we control, which will most likely be attackers. So this buffs up our commander when it's attacking, so we'll be able to cheat out more higher mana value stuff. And if our creatures are untapped, we'll have better defense. Kaldra Complete for +5/+5, indestructible, trample, first strike, haste, and exile a creature on combat damage upon dealing combat damage to that creature. Nelicized can really buff up a commander. Would definitely recommend you put in this deck, especially because of Living Weapon. Could also put in All That Glimmers or Glitters, I think. Bone Horde. This is to counteract or give yourself a fighting chance against graveyard decks. So Rakdos, Aristocrats, Orzhov Aristocrats, Golgari Mill, Self Mill to be specific, Dimir Mill, Sultai Mill, Sultai Delve decks, those sorts of things. Commander's Plate, just to give our commander some more protection and buff it up a bit more. Help it get in for more damage. Tezzeret the Seeker could help us win the game if we cheat out enough artifacts with Aisha's combat trigger. Can also untap artifacts and search for artifacts we may need, such as Kappa Cannoneer to buff up our commander even more. Oh, wait. Why did I think this was? Oh yeah, I originally thought this had reconfigure, but still good creature to have, especially because of improvise, and because it gets bigger and bigger. And whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, not only does it get a +1/+1 counter, but it can't be blocked this turn. So good, and it has ward 4, so it has some protection. Sharding Sphinx is in here to help make us an army in a hurry if need be. If our opponent is just going out of control with a whole bunch of tokens, this can help us level the playing field. Colossus Hammer, because +10/+10, that'll easily get that's guaranteed, in fact, to get Aisha's power to 12, which would allow you to cheat out Blightsteel Colossus and other high mana value artifacts on her attack trigger. Cathars Crusade, since we're cheating out artifact creatures, we may as well have this in here to buff everyone up permanently with +1/+1 counters. And this will include Aisha, so she'll be getting stronger and stronger as we cheat out more artifact creatures with her attack trigger. Jora's Familiar to cheapen our artifact legendary saga and saga spells by 1. Foundry Inspector just cheapen the casting cost of our artifact spells. Platinum Angel just to make sure we can't lose the game and our opponents can't win. Kind of seal the game, seal the deal. Insurance policy sort of stuff. Ethereum Sculptor, cost reduction. Steel Overseer, buff up all of our artifact creatures. Shambling Suit is going to be nice and big because we're going to have a lot of artifacts, hopefully. Master Transmuter. So if we have like big, high mana value, really powerful artifact cards in our hand, and we've been cheating out low mana value artifact cards with Aisha, we can use Master Transmuter to get out those big, powerful artifacts that have high mana value that we couldn't get off of Aisha's attack trigger. So like Blightsteel Colossus could be traded out for Shambling Suit. Phyrexian Metamorph can just copy anything. So we could end up copying Aisha, and it'd be an artifact in addition to other types, so we'd be able to buff this copy of Aisha up with Steel Overseer. And I believe since it would be an artifact creature, it wouldn't be the legendary rule wouldn't apply in that case, because you'd have the non-artifact Aisha, and then you'd have the Phyrexian Metamorph Aisha, if that's how that works. If not, then oh well, you just keep the Phyrexian Metamorph that is a copy of Aisha. That way you're able to buff it up with Steel Overseer. Good card either way, because you can copy not just Aisha, copy something else powerful like Blightsteel Colossus. Muzio, Visionary Architect. So say we've just recently cheated out a Blightsteel Colossus. Now with Muzio, we can just pay for and look at the top like 12 cards in that case of our library and reveal an artifact card from among them and put it onto the battlefield. So with Muzio here, as we're cheating out more and more artifacts with Aisha, we're able to cheat out even more with Muzio's tap ability. And I accidentally put into Phyrexian Metamorphs. So you could probably, if you want, you could probably do Sakashima that we can double up on combat on attackers from Aisha. Inkwell Leviathan, Island Walk, Trample, and Shroud. You've got protection, you've got trample, so this can't really be chump blocked all that easily. And if there's someone who's playing blue at the table, they're probably not going to be able to block this because of Island Walk. And it's a 7/11, and it's an artifact creature. So if you're able to cheat this out, you might be able to kill someone within a few turns, thanks to Island Walk and Trample. Scrap Trawler, just to get our stuff back if it is ever destroyed or put into a graveyard for whatever reason. Filigree Attendant will be nice and strong, and it will have flying. So basically, it's Shambling Suit, but better, if you think about it. Chief Engineer. So since we have artifact creatures, we can convoke out other artifact creatures from our hand. So this just allows us to play more and more on our turns as we're playing more and more artifacts, artifact creatures. Arcbound Reclaimer. So say we want something on our battlefield, but it's in our graveyard. We just use Arcbound Reclaimer's activated ability by removing a +1/+1 card from it, and then we put target artifact card from our graveyard on top of our library. So if Aisha is like a 12/14 and we want Blightsteel Colossus, but it's in our graveyard for some reason, somehow, which I think would be impossible. Yeah. So say better example. Say we want Inkwell of Leviathan. Well, now we can use Arcbound Reclaimer to get Inkwell of Leviathan onto the top of our library before combat. And then when Aisha attacks, we are guaranteed to get Inkwell of Leviathan. That is if we don't find something better. So really good counter against like blue-black mill decks. Because now we're able to control what's on top of our library a little more easily. You can also use Scry. Arcbound Crusher, just as a nice creature that can buff itself up, has more and more artifacts enter the battlefield, and it's trample and modulo 1. Pen and Blade, this will be going on to our commander because we're going to be cheating out a lot of artifact creatures, at least in this style of this deck. Like I said, you can use some of the cards, none of the cards, all the cards. It really depends on what you want to do. This is an EDH guide to get you pointed into the right direction. You don't have to go along with every card I mentioned. Like, use every single card I mentioned. It's really up to you. Aetherworks Marvel is in here to recover from a board wipe by helping us cheat something out that could help us bounce back. Dragon Throne of Tarkir. So we attach this to some big artifact creature we have on board. It may have Defender, but it'll be able to buff up our entire board and give all those buffed up creatures trample. So say we throw this onto like a 9/9 Steel Overseer. Now we can pay 2 and tap, and suddenly all of our creatures are getting +9/+9 trample, including Aisha. So then she'll be able to get us higher mana value artifacts out, help cheat those things out on that combat. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you can use this to buff up your commander along with all your creatures, not to mention close out the game quite possibly. Urza, Lord High Artificer, allows us to tap our artifacts to add blue mana, which case we can either use to play more artifacts, or we can pay 5 to shuffle our library, then exile the top card, and until in turn we can play that card without paying its mana cost. And when Urza enters the battlefield, he creates us a colorless construct creature token that gets +1/+1 for each artifact we control. So as we're playing more artifacts, that construct token is getting bigger and bigger. So we've got ramp, and we've got another way to cheat out more stuff. The Immortal Sun is in here for a good amount of reasons. Players can't activate Planeswalker's loyalty abilities. Say someone has a Nicol Bolas or like a Liliana that's about to ultimate. We play this. That plan has been shut down entirely unless they destroy the Immortal Sun. At the beginning of our draw step, we draw an additional card, keep us gassed up a bit. Spells we cast cost 1 generic mana less to cast. We're able to do more on our turn, and creatures we control get +1/+1. Aisha is able to get us higher mana value artifacts out with her attack trigger than before. All good stuff. So definitely would recommend the Immortal Sun because it's an artifact too. Doubling Cube can help us do a lot more in a turn by doubling the amount of each type of mana in our mana pool. And then we've actually got an infinite combo with filigree sages. So what we do is we have doubling cube out and we have filigree sages out. Depending on how much mana you have, you can do this the turn you play both of these cards. But you'd have to have like 11 mana at the ready. So what you do is you'd have doubling cube and filigree sages out. You would tap 6 lands to float 3 mana. Now you're going to need blue, so keep that in mind. As long as you have blue, you'll be good. But then you use 3 of that mana, so you have 3 left to on doubling cube to so now you have 6 mana. One of the 6, or at least 2 of the 6 in this case, would be blue. Then you use 3 of this. 3 of 9. Hold on. Well, more than 6 mana. So the idea is that you float a bunch of mana, use 3 of it to tap doubling cube. So say we float 7, we use 3 of it on doubling cube. Now we even though we've used 3, we've got 8 left over, and we need blue mana because of filigree sages to untap doubling cube and use it again. And we're going to use this over and over again to produce infinite mana. You understand. Because you untap the artifact, you then double the amount of mana you have, you use that mana on filigree sages to untap doubling cube and keep doing it over and over again. The more mana you're able to float, the faster you're able to produce this infinite mana. You'll understand once you're able to like pull off the combo. Memnarch is a great one to go along with this combo because if we have infinite mana, we're able to make all of our opponent's permanents artifacts in addition to other types, and then gain control of those artifacts. Basically, this combo allows us to steal our opponent's entire board, and that includes their lands. Don't think you'd normally see that in Ancient of Treachery decks, although pretty close. And yes, we do have Seat of the Synod, an artifact land that, of course, can be cheated out with Aisha, so you could get more than one land out in a turn. Academy Ruins is just like Arcbound Reclaimer, but it's a legendary land. We're able to get an artifact card from our graveyard on top of our library. So when we attack with Aisha, we get that card guaranteed, or something that may be better. Depends on what it is. Ancient Den, artifact land. Treasure Vault, artifact land. Power Depot, artifact land. And it has modular 1. Razor Tide Bridge, artifact land, and it's indestructible. Darksteel Citadel, indestructible artifact land. Tolarian Academy can add a bunch of mana because we're cheating out a whole bunch of artifacts. And then we've got 21 basic plains and 21 basic islands. And with that said, the end of this EDH guide starring Aisha Tanaka Armor. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Pay your respects to the Queen, obviously, today. Rest in peace. Oh, and leave a comment on this video if you want to, and make an EDH request. First come, first serve, so you know the deal. Just make sure that's an art been featured on this channel. And if you want a specific style, just say so. So like Ramos Voltron or something. Yeah. Hit the notification bell, that way you don't miss another one of my videos. And I think that's it. Long live the Queen, and I will see you guys Monday. See ya.